What happens when Andrew Garfield walks onto a live daytime talk show expecting a thoughtful conversation, only for the tone to suddenly shift into something tense, personal, and unexpectedly uncomfortable? What begins as a casual interview quickly turns into one of those awkward television moments viewers can't stop talking about. The kind where everyone in the studio feels the energy change in real time, and no one seems entirely sure how things are about to unfold. Make sure to subscribe to the Star Talks, and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The audience applauds as Andrew Garfield walks onto the stage smiling, waving politely, dressed casually but polished in a way that feels natural for daytime television. He greets the panel warmly, exchanges quick handshakes, and settles into his seat while the hosts begin easing into the conversation. "Well, look who's here," says Joy Behar with a grin. "You know, our audience absolutely loves you." The crowd cheers again. Andrew laughs lightly. "That's very kind. Thank you. I appreciate that. You've been busy," another host says. "Projects, interviews, and somehow still managing to stay mysterious." Andrew smiles. "I think mysterious is just another word for tired." The audience laughs. "That's honest," Joy says immediately. "See, this is why people like you. You seem normal." Andrew chuckles politely. "I try." The conversation starts comfortably. They discuss acting, public expectations, and how strange fame can sometimes feel. "You've talked before," one host says, "about pressure in this business. Do you still feel it?" Andrew pauses briefly. "Yeah," he says honestly. "I think pressure never really disappears. You just learn to live with it better. There's this weird expectation to always seem grateful and emotionally available and perfectly composed all the time." Joy nods. "But isn't that part of being famous?" she asks. "People feel like they know you." Andrew smiles carefully. "Sure," he says. "But feeling like you know someone and actually knowing them are very different things." The audience murmurs softly. "That sounded deep," Joy says with a laugh. Andrew laughs too. "I promise I'm not trying to sound dramatic." One host leans forward. "Do you ever get frustrated with public assumptions?" Andrew exhales lightly. "Sometimes, yeah. I think everybody does. Especially when strangers decide who you are based on one headline or one clip." Joy jumps in quickly. "Oh, come on, celebrities complain about this all the time," she says. "But the fame part comes with the money and attention, right?" The audience reacts with scattered laughter and a few surprised sounds. Andrew shifts slightly in his chair. He pauses. "I think that can be true and also incomplete." Joy tilts her head. "How?" "Well," Andrew says calmly, "there's a difference between gratitude and accepting unhealthy dynamics." The room quiets slightly. You can appreciate opportunities and still struggle with the way people project things onto you. Joy crosses her arms jokingly. "So no one should criticize actors anymore?" The audience laughs nervously. Andrew smiles politely. "That's not what I said." "I'm teasing," Joy replies quickly. He nods. "I know." The conversation moves again, but the mood changes just slightly, subtle enough that only attentive viewers would notice. Another host steps in. "You've always come across as thoughtful in interviews." Joy laughs suddenly. "Too thoughtful sometimes." The audience laughs. Andrew grins. "That sounds like criticism." "Oh, it is," Joy says jokingly. "Sometimes I watch actors answer simple questions like they're solving world peace." The crowd laughs louder. Andrew smiles again, but there's a brief pause. "I'll try to disappoint you less." The audience reacts with laughter and applause. Joy points playfully. "See, that's sarcasm. I like that." The conversation continues toward relationships with fame and privacy. "You're famously private," a host says. Andrew nods. "Somewhat." Joy jumps in again. "Which always makes people suspicious." Andrew blinks once. "Suspicious?" "Yeah," Joy says casually. "People think when celebrities avoid talking, they're hiding something." A few audience members laugh awkwardly. Andrew leans back slightly. "I think sometimes people are just private." The tone stays light, but noticeably tighter. Joy presses. "But there's curiosity, right? People wonder. Relationships, personal life, all of it." Andrew gives a careful smile. "Curiosity is normal." "So answer something then," Joy says, laughing. The audience laughs. Andrew laughs too. "That sounds dangerous." "No, seriously," Joy says. "You're charming, successful. Everybody loves you. Why are you always so guarded?" The room becomes quieter. Andrew pauses. "I don't know if guarded is the word." "What word would you use?" He thinks for a second. "Human." A few audience members clap softly. Joy leans forward. No, but really. Andrew smiles politely again. I am really answering. The audience reacts with a few surprised murmurs. Joy laughs. You're dodging me. I'm actually not. There's another tiny pause. Andrew shifts slightly, hands folded together now. I just think some conversations deserve boundaries. The audience applauds softly. Joy lifts her hands jokingly. Oh boy, boundaries. Another host jumps in quickly. Okay, let's pivot before we get in trouble. Everyone laughs, easing tension. So tell us something fun, the host says. What surprises people about you? Andrew visibly relaxes a little. I'm very boring. No way, Joy says immediately. I promise, Andrew replies. What do you do at home? Tea. The audience laughs. That's it, Joy says. Tea. Reading. Thinking about how tired I am. Big laughter. You're 40 and already retired, Joy jokes. Emotionally? Maybe. The audience laughs louder. Then Joy suddenly circles back. But seriously, Andrew, and don't hate me for asking, do you think actors today get too sensitive? The laughter fades. Andrew looks at her carefully. What do you mean? Well, Joy says casually, every interview now somebody talks about mental health, boundaries, privacy, pressure. The audience grows quieter. Back in the day, people just worked. One host shifts slightly in her chair. Andrew nods slowly. I think people worked then too, he says carefully. They maybe just didn't talk openly about struggling. A small applause breaks out. Joy waves a hand. Or maybe people are softer now. There's a louder reaction from the audience this time. Mixed laughter and surprise. Andrew's expression changes slightly. Still calm. Still polite. But more focused now. He leans forward just a little. I don't know, he says. I think being emotionally honest takes strength. The audience claps again. Joy smiles. Or therapy. Laughter erupts. Andrew laughs politely at first. Then pauses. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. The audience reacts with louder applause. Joy grins. Oh, now we're debating. Andrew smiles. No debate. But his tone is firmer now. Just perspective. Another host quickly laughs. This got serious fast. It's live television, Joy jokes. Andrew nods once. Yes, he says lightly. And live television is usually where people pretend they're joking while saying something they actually mean. The audience suddenly reacts, a mix of gasps, laughter, and loud applause. Joy blinks. Then laughs. Oh, okay. Andrew immediately smiles again. No hostility, he says. I promise. But the energy in the room has shifted. The hosts glance briefly at one another. The audience leans in. And for the first time in the interview, it feels like something unplanned may actually be happening live on air. Joy laughs, though there's a slight pause before it lands naturally. Well, Joy Behar says, smiling wider now, that sounded suspiciously personal. The audience laughs, but it feels different this time. Lighter on the surface, more cautious underneath. Andrew Garfield gives a small smile. I didn't mean it personally. Hum, Joy replies, raising an eyebrow. One of the other hosts jumps in quickly. You know what? I actually think what Andrew said is interesting, she says. Because interviews can get weird, right? There's this dance between public curiosity and private limits. Andrew nods immediately. Exactly. Joy leans back. Fine, she says jokingly. Maybe I'm the villain today. The audience laughs. No villain, Andrew says calmly. I think curiosity is fair. But, Joy asks. He hesitates for a second. But sometimes curiosity becomes entitlement. The audience quiets again. Joy tilts her head. You think interviewers feel entitled? I think culture does, Andrew replies carefully. Not just interviewers. Fans, media, audiences sometimes. Everyone. Another host nods thoughtfully. That's fair. Joy shakes her head playfully. I don't know. You become famous, people want to know things. Andrew smiles politely. Sure. And honestly, Joy continues, sometimes celebrities act like they want attention and privacy at the same time. A few audience members laugh. Andrew lets the moment sit. I think most people want both, he says. Joy looks surprised. What do you mean? You probably want people to appreciate your work, Andrew says, but still let you go home and be yourself. The audience claps softly. Joy laughs. I'm not chased by paparazzi. No, Andrew says with a grin, but you're still human. That gets a bigger audience reaction. Joy points toward him. See, now you're getting philosophical again. Andrew laughs. I've accepted my fate. The tension eases for a moment. One host turns toward him. Okay, I want to ask something lighter before Joy starts another fight. The audience erupts in laughter. Joy pretends to gasp. Excuse me. Andrew laughs harder this time. That's fair. So, the host continues, you've played emotionally intense characters. Does that ever stay with you? Andrew thinks. Sometimes. How do you switch off? He shrugs. I'm still figuring it out. Joy immediately jumps in. See, this is what I mean. Andrew glances over. What part? The modern actor thing, Joy says. Everything is emotional processing. The audience gives an uncomfortable laugh. You all talk about protecting energy and healing and boundaries. One host quietly shifts in her chair. Andrew stays calm. He smiles slightly. Life is emotional. Joy laughs. Sure, but sometimes it feels dramatic. Andrew nods slowly. That's interesting. Oh no, Joy jokes. Whenever someone says that's interesting, I know I'm about to get corrected. Big laughter. Andrew grins. No correction. He pauses. But I think dismissing emotional honesty as drama can make people feel ashamed for being human. The audience applauds louder this time. Joy shrugs. Or maybe people overshare now. Another host jumps in gently. I don't know if talking about mental health means oversharing. Joy raises both hands. Here we go. Andrew looks thoughtful. I actually get what you're saying. Joy blinks. You do? Yeah. The room shifts slightly. He continues calmly. I think sometimes language gets overused. People throw around therapy terms casually. Joy nods quickly. Yes, but, Andrew adds, that doesn't mean vulnerability itself is fake. The applause returns. Joy smiles. Okay, that's a reasonable answer. Thank you, Andrew says, smiling. For now, Joy jokes. Laughter breaks the tension again. Then Joy glances at her cards. Can I ask something slightly annoying? Andrew laughs. You already have. The audience bursts into applause and laughter. Joy points dramatically. Oh, you came ready today. No, Andrew says, laughing. You're just very quick. Okay, Joy says, leaning forward again. People say actors are overly protected now. Media training, approved questions, publicists controlling everything. She gestures toward him. Did anyone tell us not to ask certain things? A quiet ripple moves through the audience. Andrew pauses. Not really. Joy lifts an eyebrow. Not really sounds like yes. The audience laughs nervously. Andrew smiles. No one gave rules. But there are conversations I prefer not to have publicly. Joy jumps in. Relationships. A few audience members laugh loudly. Andrew exhales through his nose, smiling politely. Among other things. But people are curious, Joy says again. Andrew nods once. I know. So why not answer? The room grows noticeably quieter. Andrew folds his hands together. Because curiosity alone isn't always enough reason. There's a beat of silence. Joy laughs softly. That sounds like a politician answer. The audience laughs. Andrew smiles but doesn't immediately answer. Then he says quietly, No, it sounds like someone trying to protect pieces of his actual life. That lands. A few audience members clap immediately. Others stay quiet. One host jumps in carefully. I think people forget actors still go home and exist. Andrew nods. Yes. Joy sighs dramatically. I'm trying to do my job here. The audience laughs again. And you're good at it, Andrew replies. But, he smiles. There's a difference between conversation and pressure. The room gets quiet again. Joy's expression changes just slightly. You think I'm pressuring you? Andrew pauses. He chooses his words carefully. I think sometimes daytime television pushes people toward personal disclosures because silence feels awkward. The audience reacts loudly, laughter, applause, some surprised sounds. Joy leans back. Oh wow. No disrespect, Andrew says quickly. Seriously. But you think I do that? I think television does that. Another host quickly laughs. He answered without answering. The audience laughs. Joy smiles, though tighter now. You know what your problem is? Andrew raises his eyebrows playfully. I have many. You're too calm. Huge laughter. No, seriously, Joy continues. You answer like someone who practiced in a mirror. Andrew laughs softly. I definitely didn't. Because I'm trying to get a straight answer and you keep turning it into philosophy. Andrew looks down briefly, then back up. No. His tone is calm but firmer than before. I think I'm answering honestly. The audience quiets. Joy shrugs. Well, maybe I like Messier honesty. Andrew nods slowly. That's fair. Then after a pause, he adds. But sometimes Messier honesty becomes entertainment for strangers. The audience audibly reacts. A louder mix of applause and murmurs spreads through the studio. Joy opens her mouth, then stops. One host quietly says, "Okay." Andrew stays composed. Still smiling. Still respectful. But there's a noticeable shift now. The room no longer feels playful. Even the audience seems divided, some leaning toward Joy's bluntness, others clearly siding with Andrew's calm pushback. And for the first time since he sat down, it looks like Andrew isn't simply dodging the tension anymore. He's standing his ground, politely, carefully, but unmistakably on live television. The audience noise hangs in the air for a moment. Scattered applause, nervous laughter, people shifting in their seats as if everyone suddenly realizes this conversation stopped being light entertainment several minutes ago. Joy Behar leans back in her chair, looking amused but also slightly more serious now. "Okay," she says, smiling tightly. "You know what? I'm trying very hard not to become the bad guy here." The audience laughs. "You're not the bad guy," Andrew Garfield says immediately. Joy points at him. "That sounded diplomatic." He laughs. "It was diplomatic." Another host jumps in with a grin. "This is fascinating because neither of you is actually yelling, but somehow it feels like an argument." Big audience laughter. Joy gestures dramatically. "Exactly. Thank you." Andrew smiles. "I don't think we're arguing." Joy raises her eyebrows. "Oh, we're definitely sparring." He thinks for a second. "Maybe we're disagreeing politely." "That's British," Joy says immediately. The audience laughs. "I'll take that," Andrew replies. One of the hosts turns toward him. "You know, what you said about public pressure actually reminds me of something. Do celebrities feel like they always have to perform even when they're exhausted?" Andrew nods slowly. "Sometimes." He pauses, choosing his words carefully again. "I think there's pressure to always be charming or funny or emotionally available." Joy jumps in. "Because people pay to see you." The audience gives a mixed reaction. Andrew nods once. "True. But," he continues calmly, "I don't think visibility cancels humanity." A small wave of applause rolls through the crowd. Joy sighs theatrically. "You say everything like a quote someone posts online." Huge laughter. Andrew laughs too. "That sounds terrible." No, Joy says quickly. "I mean, it's thoughtful. But sometimes I wonder if actors overthink things." He leans slightly forward. "You've never overthought something?" The audience reacts instantly. Joy laughs hard. "Every day." "Exactly," Andrew says, smiling. "That's called anxiety," Joy replies. Big laughter again. Andrew nods playfully. "Then maybe we have more in common than we thought." The audience applauds. The energy softens for a moment. One host smiles. "There we go. Healing." Joy points toward her. "Don't start with healing." Laughter. "No healing," Andrew says, grinning. "Just mutual survival." The audience laughs again. Then Joy glances toward him with the kind of expression that suggests she's not quite done. "But seriously," she says, leaning in again. "Can I be honest?" Andrew laughs softly. "That question usually means danger." Huge laughter. Joy smiles. "You seem careful." The audience quiets slightly. Andrew nods. "Probably." "No, really," Joy says. "You seem very aware of every word." He thinks for a moment. "I think words matter." Or, Joy says carefully, "you're avoiding saying what you actually think." The audience reacts. A few murmurs. One host glances sideways immediately. Andrew pauses. His smile doesn't disappear, but it changes. Smaller now. Measured. "I don't think that's true." Joy shrugs. "Really?" "Yeah." He sits back slightly. "I think there's a difference between honesty and impulsiveness." The audience claps lightly. Joy laughs. "So I'm impulsive?" Andrew immediately shakes his head. "No." The audience laughs nervously. That pause was suspicious. Joy says. More laughter. Andrew rubs his forehead briefly, smiling. "I'm trying very hard here." "You are," Joy says. "Very hard." The audience laughs again. Another host steps in. "I actually think what Andrew's saying is interesting because there's this expectation now that celebrities owe complete access." Joy nods. "Well, yes." Andrew turns slightly toward her. "Can I ask something?" Joy looks surprised. "Oh, now I'm getting interviewed?" The audience laughs. "Just curious," Andrew says. "Go." He gestures lightly. If a stranger walked up to you and asked deeply personal questions, would you answer? Joy laughs immediately. No. Why not? Because it's weird. Big laughter. Andrew smiles politely. Exactly. Joy points. Okay, but I'm not a stranger. This is television. Fair. He nods. But millions of strangers are watching. The room gets quieter. A few audience members clap. Joy leans back again. You know what annoys me? Andrew laughs. What? You make good points. Huge audience laughter and applause. But, she says quickly, I still think celebrities benefit from mystery. Andrew nods. Sure. And then complain about speculation. He pauses. That part's fair. The audience murmurs. Joy looks surprised. Oh, no, seriously, Andrew continues. If you're public, people will speculate. So we agree? Partly. Joy narrows her eyes jokingly. There's always a partly with you. The audience laughs. Andrew smiles. I just think speculation becomes harmful when people forget there's an actual person involved. A host nods slowly. Especially online. Exactly, Andrew says. Joy folds her arms. But criticism comes with fame. He nods. Yes. So why get upset? Andrew pauses longer this time. The studio quiets naturally. I don't think feeling hurt means someone's weak. The audience claps softly. He continues. People say things like fame should make you immune. He shrugs lightly. But emotionally, we're still people. Joy watches him closely now. Less teasing. More curious. You ever read bad things about yourself? Andrew laughs once. Unfortunately. And, he hesitates. Depends on the day. The honesty shifts something in the room. A quieter reaction now. More listening than laughing. One day you shrug it off, he says. Another day it hits harder than you'd expect. Joy nods slowly. That I understand. Andrew glances toward her. Really? Of course, Joy says. People yell at me constantly. Big audience laughter. No, seriously, she says. People think television personalities don't care. Andrew nods. That sounds hard. The audience gives an audible, ah. Joy laughs immediately. Don't therapize me. Huge laughter erupts. Andrew laughs harder than before. I wasn't. You were about to ask me about my inner child. The audience loses it. No chance, Andrew says, wiping his eye from laughing. For the first time in a while, the tension genuinely eases. Then Joy tilts her head again. But can I say one thing? Andrew nods. Always dangerous, but yes. Laughter. I still think, Joy says carefully, that sometimes celebrities hide behind words like boundaries when really they just don't want accountability. The audience reacts instantly. Sharper this time. Some applause. Some uncomfortable murmurs. Another host looks down at her cards. Andrew's smile fades, not dramatically, but enough to notice. He takes a second before speaking. What accountability? The room becomes very quiet. Joy gestures vaguely. I don't know. Public responsibility. He nods slowly. Sure. Then he looks directly at her. But accountability for what exactly? Joy pauses. Well, the audience waits. You know, influence. Andrew nods once. Okay. His tone stays calm. Measured. But I think there's a difference between accountability and access. The audience claps. You can be responsible, he continues, without surrendering every private part of yourself. Joy watches him carefully. He keeps going. And honestly, the room quiets again. When people keep pushing after someone says, I'd rather not talk about that, it stops feeling like curiosity. A pause. Then, calmly, it starts feeling like entitlement. The audience erupts, applause gasps, a few loud cheers. Joy blinks, then laughs once. Oh wow. Another host quietly says, Okay, this got real. Andrew exhales, still composed. Still respectful. But no longer backing away from the disagreement. And suddenly the studio feels divided in the way live television sometimes does. The audience caught between discomfort and fascination, unsure whether they just witnessed a thoughtful conversation or the beginning of something much more uncomfortable unfolding in real time. The applause lingers longer this time. Not explosive, not chaotic, just loud enough to make everyone aware that something uncomfortable and strangely compelling has settled over the room. Joy Behar leans back in her chair, laughing once under her breath. Well, she says, lifting her hands, I feel attacked. The audience bursts into laughter, grateful for the release. Andrew Garfield smiles immediately. You shouldn't. Oh no, Joy replies. No, Andrew says calmly. I think we're just disagreeing. Another host jumps in quickly, and honestly, respectfully. The audience applauds. Joy looks around dramatically. Are we respectful? I feel judged. Laughter again. Andrew laughs too, the tension easing slightly. I promise I'm not judging you. Joy points toward him. You keep saying things calmly, and somehow I feel scolded. Huge laughter erupts. Andrew shakes his head. That may be your inner voice. The audience explodes. Even Joy laughs hard at that. Okay, she says between laughs. Now he's got jokes. Another host wipes tears from laughing. See, this is what happens when daytime television accidentally turns into therapy. Again with therapy, Joy says. Andrew smiles. You brought it up. The audience laughs again, and for the first time in several minutes the room feels lighter. One host turns toward Andrew. Before we completely spiral, she says, laughing, what would you actually want people to understand about public figures? Andrew pauses. The room naturally settles. He speaks slower now. I think most people in public-facing jobs understand curiosity comes with it. He glances around the table. And criticism, too. Joy nods slightly. That part one agree with. But, Andrew continues, sometimes there's this assumption that if someone wants privacy, they're hiding something. Or if someone says no to a question, they're difficult. The audience listens quietly. And honestly, he says, sometimes people just want a piece of life that belongs to them. A few audience members clap softly. Joy folds her arms. Fine. She sighs dramatically. You've convinced me a little. Big laughter. A little. Andrew repeats. Don't get greedy. The audience laughs again. One host smiles. This may be the closest thing to compromise we've ever seen on this couch. Joy points. No, because I still think celebrities complain too much. Laughter. Andrew nods. That's fair. Joy looks surprised. You agree? Sometimes. The audience murmurs. No group of people is perfect, he says. Actors can be dramatic. Huge laughter. Joy slaps the table. Finally. But, Andrew adds with a grin, television hosts can be relentless. The audience erupts again. Joy points at him. Fair. They shake hands jokingly across the table as applause spreads through the studio. One host laughs. This might be the healthiest disagreement we've had in months. The conversation starts winding down. A producer off-camera signals timing. Joy glances over and sighs dramatically. Apparently we have to end before I fully interrogate him. Andrew smiles. You've done enough damage. The audience loses it. Joy laughs loudly. Okay, I walked into that one. As the segment wraps, applause fills the room again. Louder now, warmer than before. Some audience members are still whispering to one another, clearly replaying parts of the exchange in real time. Others clap harder for Andrew, while a few cheer when Joy throws her hands up jokingly and says, I still think I'm right. Backstage, in this fictional scenario, the mood feels noticeably calmer than the tension viewers imagined. Andrew laughs with producers near the stage entrance. Joy walks over, points at him jokingly and says, You made me work today. Andrew grins. You started it. They laugh. Someone nearby jokes. Well, the internet's going to enjoy this. And sure enough, online reactions begin pouring in. Some viewers post clips saying Andrew stayed calm under pressure. Others defend Joy, arguing she asked the kind of blunt questions audiences secretly want answered. Some people debate whether boundaries and fame can realistically coexist. Others simply post, That was awkward television, and I couldn't stop watching. Clips circulate. Viewers argue respectfully, and not so respectfully, over who made the stronger point. But one thing becomes clear. People are talking. Because those live TV moments where disagreement feels real, messy, uncomfortable, and unexpectedly honest are the moments audiences remember. And whether viewers sided with Joy, sided with Andrew, or thought both made fair points, the conversation clearly struck a nerve. So what do you think? Was Andrew right to push back, or was Joy just doing her job? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the Star Talks for more real talk show stories.